Generals didn't die in trenches, their soldiers did. War wasn't decided in mud and wire. It was decided at desks by men with clean boots, steady hands, and the power to send thousands forward, knowing many would never return. This is the story of those decisions, and the soldiers who paid for them. Watch till end to know about brutality they did. Sir Douglas Haig. Sir Douglas Haig believed in one idea above all others: attrition, the belief that if enough men were thrown forward, the enemy would eventually break. On paper, it sounded logical. In reality, it was catastrophic. On July 1, 1916, Haig launched the Battle of the Somme. British soldiers were told the artillery barrage had destroyed German defenses. They were assured the enemy's machine guns were silent. They were wrong. At 7:30 a.m., whistles blew. Soldiers climbed out of trenches and began walking forward, not running, walking, weighed down with nearly 30 kilograms of equipment. German machine guns were waiting. Within minutes, entire units were cut down. Men fell in rows before even reaching no man's land. Some were hit so many times their bodies were unrecognizable. By the end of the day, over 60,000 British soldiers were casualties. Nearly 19,000 were dead, the bloodiest day in British military history. Haig, watching reports from headquarters, called it a success. He ordered the attacks to continue. The soldiers had no choice. General Luigi Cadorna. In Italy, General Luigi Cadorna ruled through fear. He believed soldiers failed not because of impossible conditions but because they lacked discipline. His solution was brutal decimation. If a unit retreated or failed, Cadorna sometimes ordered every 10th man executed, chosen at random. Innocent soldiers were shot simply to set an example. Men were forced to watch their comrades die. Sometimes they were ordered to fire the shots themselves. Cadorna launched 11 offensives along the Isonzo River. Each time, soldiers attacked uphill across open ground into fortified positions. Each time they were slaughtered. Cadorna blamed cowardice. The soldiers blamed impossible orders. By the end of World War I, Italy had suffered over 1 million casualties, many under a general who never accepted responsibility. German General Erich von Falkenhayn. German General Erich von Falkenhayn believed France could be defeated not by capturing land, but by bleeding it dry. His plan for Verdun was simple: force the French to defend a symbolic location, then kill them in massive numbers. Verdun became a machine. For 10 months, soldiers lived underground among corpses, rats, and collapsing trenches. Artillery fell day and night. The ground itself turned to dust and bone. Men went mad from shell shock. Some wandered into enemy lines screaming. Others froze in place, unable to move. Over 700,000 soldiers became casualties for ground that barely moved. Verdun did not break France, it broke the men sent there. Hitler. By World War II, decisions became even deadlier. Adolf Hitler refused retreat ever. He believed surrender was weakness, even when survival depended on it. At Stalingrad, German forces were encircled by the Red Army. Generals begged to withdraw. Hitler said no. He promised supplies by air that never arrived. Soldiers starved in freezing ruins. They ate horses, then rats, then leather. Wounded men froze to death in cellars. Ammunition ran out. Hope disappeared. By February 1943, over 90,000 German soldiers surrendered. Only a fraction would ever return home. The decision was made far away by a man who never set foot in the ruins. General Douglas MacArthur. In the Pacific, General Douglas MacArthur promised he would defend the Philippines. He failed. Poor planning left American and Filipino troops undersupplied. When Japan invaded, soldiers were already starving and sick. MacArthur escaped. The soldiers were captured. What followed was the Bataan Death March. Over 60 miles, prisoners were beaten, bayoneted, denied water. Those who fell were shot or left to die. Thousands died not in battle but as prisoners, victims of decisions made long before the march began. General George Patton. Even celebrated generals caused suffering. In 1943 in Sicily, General George Patton slapped 2 soldiers hospitalized for battle fatigue. He called them cowards, ordered them back to the front. At a time when shell shock was barely understood, soldiers were punished for psychological collapse. The incident was covered up until reporters exposed it. Patton apologized, but the message was clear: mental suffering was weakness. Many soldiers returned to combat broken because a general refused to see trauma as real. Across wars, across nations, the pattern repeats. Men were ordered forward into machine guns, into gas, into frozen wastelands, into cities that had already become graves. They followed orders because refusing meant prison or death. They died believing someone above them knew better. Often, no one did. When wars end, generals write memoirs, maps are archived, medals are displayed, but the soldiers remain where they fell in fields, forests, ruins, and unmarked graves. War is remembered as strategy, but it is lived as suffering. And it always begins the same way, at a desk with a decision and someone else sent to die.